Hello, Michael. Delighted to be chatting with you. Myself and Steve Evans here, both of us in Liverpool and over on the Wirral.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
Very
Are you
good.
good
I'll learn about the world one day.
Yeah, I was
I'm
going to
just
say, you good this morning?
I'm just
morning.
north
It's
of
really
Brisbane.
early.
Yeah, it's just 5 o'clock. The
Yeah.
sun just coming up. Another beautiful day.
Wow.
We get
Excellent.
we get about from now on until October. We get 6 months of blue sky days with no wind, about 27, 28 degrees every day here. So,
Oh, I love it. That'd suit me down to the ground. So, where are you on the west coast then of Australia?
East
Have I
Coast.
got it right?
East
East
Coast.
Coast.
Yeah,
Oh, I've got it
southeast.
the wrong way around. Ah, right. Okay. I'm
Southeast
getting mixed up
Queensland.
with I'm
Yeah,
getting mixed up with my time zones and one thing and another. I
yeah.
think it said something about you on your Twitter profile. You've got two Twitter accounts, haven't you? Did it say that you lived in Japan for a while, which would be right because I assume.
Yeah, I lived in England from 88 to 94, and then I went and played rugby in Japan and worked there on and off kind of until about, well, kind of still now we've still got an apartment in Tokyo. So
Ah,
but
right. Okay.
we like the winters here for the 6 months of beautiful weather. So we're here for the next 6 months in Brisbane. So.
Cool. Don't blame you at all. Don't
Yeah.
blame you. Yeah,
Jealous.
yeah. You've got a huge follower number across social media, haven't you? You know, with over how many accounts, and didn't you have something like 64 staff working for you as well? So would you class
Yeah.
yourself as like a social media influencer as well, or?
I don't know if I've been an influencer. Probably for about 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I kind of stopped trying to be any kind of an influencer. I used to blog daily, and I wrote a book, and sort of retired from all that about 11 years ago. But so mainly just dabbling at the moment. But got something I'm just starting. But yeah, just dabbling at the moment. Kind of retired from it all about 11 years ago, really. So yeah.
There's still over 100,000 followers you've got on Twitter, which is, it's a huge following.
Yeah, I got about 2 million connections on the internet, like
Wow.
first degree connections and second degree connections. So yeah, I had a very popular blog. I think I was in the top 50 websites in the world, and all I was talking about was daily social media, new tools coming out, and how to use the new platforms and what was happening. Because about 12 years ago, 13 years ago, there was, as you can probably remember, there was a lot of new stuff coming out every day. Like Pinterest was coming out one day, and then Instagram would come out the next week, and everyone was going, wow, what's that? How do you use that? Why is that useful? And I used to blog about that. So
Okay.
that was popular for people.
Yeah. Moving forward then, what do you do to relax, Michael? Is it golf? Maybe related to your involvement with golf,
about three days a week of golf. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah, we try to get out for a walk every day. So
yeah.
What's
your involvement with golf and coin?
Yeah, go on. I was just going to ask the
same. That's an ongoing project, put on hold at the moment a little bit, but that will be resurrected later in the year. Yeah, so it's a coin for the golfing industry to use, and we're just trying to align it with some charity where the money is going to go to at the moment. So we're just deciding on that. So yeah.
Is that all linked with something to do with cancer and hospices? Is it?
Yeah. So we're just tying all the ends up about that and making a registered charity and all that. Going for a lot of palaver about that at the moment. So then that will get going. Yeah.
Sounds really interesting. Yeah.
I made
good project.
I made a successful cryptocurrency before about 8 years ago. So looking forward to doing that again with golf and linking it to a charity. So I learned.
Yeah, I picked that up about cryptocurrency, and I was like, "Wow, that's interesting." Just for the golfing fraternity.
Yeah.
How does that work then? Is it? Well, you're going to tell me it's just for the golfers.
Well, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry all around the world, as you probably know, and if people were paying with the coin, every time they went to their golf club or bought golf equipment or hired a rental car to go and play golf, this kind of thing, and they use the coin, then 1 or 2 cents out of the transaction would go to the charity. So that's the basic premises of the whole thing. So yeah.
Got it. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Michael, tell us about buffer.com. How this can help grow a brand or business.
That's something I got involved with at the start of it about 13 years ago, and it's a sharing tool. Yeah. I don't know if you guys use anything like this to automate your posts. This was a very controversial thing at the time because it was the first automated system for sharing social media posts, and now most people use something like this, and they load up all their tweets or their Facebook posts every week or every month, and a machine will spit them out regularly every 4 hours or something like that. So this was the first one to do that. So okay. It's a good thing to have if you're not online all the time and you want to be regular, or you work out that every social media platform has a different algorithm. Some things reward you, like your personal Facebook, for example, to keep in front of your friends and your audience there. It's good to post probably twice a day. Yeah. For example, the posts seem to die off after about half a day. They stop giving them attention. So you want to put something else up there. Twitter, maybe not so much like that, but a little bit like that. You want to be posting probably a little bit. And you might have noticed that if you have quite a popular tweet, then the people that click like on that probably will get shown your next one, for example. But if you don't post for 2 or 3 days, then they might not get shown it. So if you're not going to be around, you might want to schedule something to come out. Yeah. So this is a scheduling tool, Buffer.
We've seen sort of a negative side of that somebody uses on Twitter. We had mention no names, but we had a chat with somebody a few weeks ago. And for some reason, and it looks like an automated tweet pops out. Yeah. Hi, can any of my friends and followers please retweet this? And we get something like 100 messages at a time.
The worst one is when people die and the tweets can't keep going out.
Dear, dear. That's not good.
That happens a bit.
Actually, where it works quite well, we do it for Radio Clatterbridge. We have automated tweets that go out 2 a day.
For the
it's
weather.
Only the weather forecast, but it keeps us active.
Yeah, exactly.
It pops up every day on the account.
Buffer's something like that. There's Social Bee and Hootsuite, and there's a number of different things like this. Well,
yeah. Moving on to your writing, the 7 basic pillars of your success. What's that about? Tell us blockchain technology and your involvement with teaching and how you use this.
I wrote a book about. I initially wrote a book, which was about 9 things to do every day on social media, and that was quite popular. And then I wrote another book about 2012, and I wrote an introduction chapter, and then 7 chapters about each of these pillars. And then I wrote a number of chapters, probably about another 25 chapters, and it had a specific learning for each of the platforms. For example, I had 7 pillars of your LinkedIn success and 7 pillars of your Facebook success, and 7 ways to brand, 7 pillars for branding yourself online as a real estate agent, or as an author, or as a B2B business, these kind of things. So I wrote a whole lot of chapters, all based around this these pillars that you've got to keep building onto. And the big one that a lot of people miss out on, and what particularly I've identified for you guys, and it's not criticism at all, because as I say, most people miss out on this, is the pillar number 6, and that you are not getting automatically shared by any community. And this is, you can have a whole lot of followers and you can have great content, and if you don't have some kind of community that you're in, like an open sharing community that is regularly sharing your content out to their audience, then it's very difficult to get your content out there these days, because everybody has got access to quite a few cheap tools, and everyone is becoming a content producer now. 15 years ago, not so much, not so many content producers. It wasn't so hard to do, but now we've got maybe 1 billion content producers that you're competing with. So if you need to be in some kind of community that's helping get your content out to the world, and if you're not in one, you have to become part of one or make one yourself, which I kind of feel that you guys might have done, but you might not have realized it, and you're not using it, because I see that you've got your 300 authors or creators that you have interviewed on YouTube, but I don't see that you're leveraging off that to the extent that you could, because if you had a community of these people, if they were all joined together in a community, and when each of these people put up new content, all the rest of you could be sharing it out if it's content that your audience would like.
Okay.
And that would be helping all of you as a team.
Yeah.
And this kind of being part of some kind of a team or sharing community is vital. Like on Facebook, there's quite a few groups like this where people are putting content in and it gets shared out, and it's just a mutual support system kind of thing that you need to be involved in as many of these as possible to extend your reach.
Can I just go off on a tangent, Michael, and ask you a question? I don't think it's on the list, but on your Twitter profile, it says that you're a recovering lawyer. Is that recovery in the medical sense, or is that a legal term? As a recovery lawyer?
Is a bit of a long story. I had a legal career of sorts, and then I went off and played rugby for a couple of years in Japan, and then I went to France and played rugby there, and then I went back to the law, and then I had my own legal practice in New Zealand from 2002 to 2007. But since then, I haven't done it. But it's very difficult to become any kind of a writer or to have a lot of tolerance for people once you've been a lawyer, because you have about 20 years of training of sniffing out and seeing through bullshit, and so as soon as you see it, you don't tend to give anyone any more time. So it's sometimes a little bit difficult to build relationships with people, and it's difficult to write because you're not used to getting questioned about anything either. That's another thing, is if I write something, people go, "What your source?" Well, I don't need to give you a source. I'm a lawyer. I'm not going to tell you anything that's not true, kind of thing. So you're not used to getting questioned about anything. So you have to approach society with a completely different mindset once you're no longer a lawyer. So it's very interesting. So I'm trying to recover from it, and the day-to-day stress of keeping a lot of secrets and remembering all the lies.
Love it.
I like that one. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was something to do with cancer hospitals or anything. I really didn't know when I saw that recovery thing. But anyway,
quite a few ex-lawyers put up recovering lawyers on their bio. There's a recovering lawyers society. Did you know? There's a whole lot of us.
Oh, really? Yeah. First time I've heard of it.
Yeah, something new.
Amazing.
Well, I looked at all these newspapers, and I studied how 15-year-olds are consuming content, and even 18-year-olds who are voting for the first time. And Where do they find out information about how they're going to vote and everything like that? And you can't come at them with anything that's longer than about 2 paragraphs long. I see that like the blue tick on Twitter now is allows you to write for 10,000 characters or something like that, which is almost crazy, because Twitter was always 140 characters. Yeah. And now they're trying to turn it into a microblog like Substack or something like that. I'm reading that Elon Musk wants to take on Substack because he thinks that's popular. And the young people, like, they won't look at anything that long. 140 characters is actually perfect for them, or a 90-second TikTok video. They might even stick out for that. But some of them, if they look at something that's going to be more than a minute, they won't even press play on it. And so probably you want a 50-second TikTok video, or YouTube Shorts are now becoming very popular, and Instagram stories, stories and Instagram. And so this is what the young people will look at for their content. So I'm working at building a platform which has daily updates about news and opinions, and teaches people what's going on based on this kind of content, and hardly having any written content at all. Maybe a few short embedded tweets, but mainly a stream of content that is picked out, or maybe made by us, and made by other people as well, but that's going to be useful and relevant for people, but none of it's going to be more than a minute long, and none of it's going to involve a whole lot of reading. So yeah, I'm working on something like this as a news media kind of platform. So yeah, that's my thing at the moment. Okay. What I spend my days building. I just bought a URL for it, and working on building a server for it, and because obviously the server costs are very expensive. So if you build your own one, you can get away with that, and gathering a community of people together that are going to make the content. So yeah, so that's what I'm up to. So, and maybe then I will become that influencer again once we get that going. So, because I got quite a bit to say, as you can see from my Twitter. I got a few opinions about a few things that I'd like to get out. But yeah, I see you've got the blue tick going there. I'm about to buy one of those today, because I've seen that they're really working for people, and people who've bought those, that their accounts are growing. I kind of resisted it. So
I wanted to try it for a month, but what I do like about it is that the fact that you've got extra sort of bookmarks, because I've got about 6 different bookmark categories, and now you can tweet in using bold and italics, which I kind of like. And also you can post videos that are a bit longer than the 2 minute 20 seconds limit. So I often create a trailer for the podcasts.
You can make longer tweets.
Do you know what though? You do get a message.
Maybe only in America so far, or you can do that, but they are offering that, I think.
But you get a warning to say that only the first 220 characters, or whatever the number is, will be displayed. I think if you've got a longer tweet, someone will have to click extend, or show the thread.
Have to click see more or something at the bottom. Yeah. But and then there's also the option to get subscribers as well. You can put an email like gathering list as well on the bottom of your account when you've got the blue tick.
I haven't seen that.
You can ask for people to subscribe to your tweets, to your emails as well.
I didn't know that.
And that's another good feature of it. And they seem to be showing people's tweets more in the newsfeed. Like if you look at the newsfeed, I'm seeing a whole lot of blue ticked people now. So is pay to play really now on Twitter, which is, I don't really like it, but you can't really resist it, can you? You can't sort of sit back and complain about it. It's just the way it is. And what is it, $10 a month? So I think if you're the amount of time you spend on it, for $10 a month is nothing. So,
well, I've cancelled my Netflix subscription because I've seen all the decent stuff on there. So I thought that was useful for it.
You've got a YouTube podcast, haven't you, as well, Michael? Is that right?
Yeah, it's very random. I've got a lot of like short 2-minute clips. I did a day of recording in Tokyo about my book. That's probably the most useful thing on there. Like I talk about a lot of different like things about how to use social media and brand yourself. So I got that up on my channel, and I got quite a few. I had 25,000 or so views of a video I made in Tokyo about a statue of a dog.
What?
Wow. Wow.
And I used to make daily like tourist videos of Tokyo, and some of them like got shared around a bit, maybe quite amusing or interesting. I don't know.
Brilliant. Yeah.
See, that's what I was going to ask about. How are you going to increase your subscriber numbers on YouTube? And is it similar to Twitter? But
yeah. Well, we're actually for this news platform, we're making we're going to have a like a 24/7 TV channel, TV news channel going through YouTube, and making like probably about 20 YouTube shorts a day, like 1 an hour of and then about a 3-minute thing that's going to summarize all the news in Australia for the day, so someone can go in and watch it and be told what's been the most interesting news in Australia today, so they don't have to sit down and watch the TV news and get fed a whole lot of propaganda or bullshit from the owner of the news channel, which is our main problem here in Australia.
Same in the UK.
You've got the BBC.
You've
got the BBC, and they're fairly neutral. We don't have that. Like
allegedly.
Murdoch and his right-wing mates, they own our public broadcasting channel, the ABC here, you see. So that's all right-wing propaganda as well. So Australians don't have any unbiased news. There's nothing. So there's a huge need and opportunity to have something like this, which is what we're aiming to do.
Yeah, we see the value of it.
So we're going to use YouTube for that. So you'll be able to see in the next couple of months a masterclass on how to build a YouTube channel. So
interesting. That'd be good.
I got some very good old friends who have got massive YouTube channels, and they've been very successful with it. The main thing is, like, coming back to that pillar 6, you got to have people sharing your stuff. It's just, you can't expect to get shared just by promoting yourself and putting content out yourself. You got to have people sparking it off by sharing it for you, and you've got to encourage people to do that somehow, or build up a community or a team of people that are doing that have all got a little bit of a following themselves in that particular area. So
that's excellent advice. It is.
Great advice. Yeah.
Michael, it's time's caught up with us. I was going to cut off very soon, but can I say it's been an absolute pleasure. Really appreciate your time and your advice.
It's been really interesting, actually. Yeah. From our point of view, we've got a lot out of it, but whether we've got all the information, whether we got through all the questions, it doesn't really matter, because it was really interesting anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
So excellent stuff.
Can we keep in touch then, as we have been on Twitter? And let me know how the new venture comes.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. And I'd like your guys' feedback about how to build something. When we get this going in Australia, we want to extend out to England as well, which is a whole completely different dynamic. But
that'd be good.
Some feedback.
I look forward to it. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. But for now, Michael, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks. And if you're not going back to bed, well, make sure you get a decent sleep later. You've been up early.
No, we're up and we're basically 4 o'clock.